This is Abby Johnson with Report News, coming to you from Austin, Texas for South by Southwest. I'm joined right now by Tim and Earhart. And first of all, these guys are responsible for the Awesome Foundation. I don't know if you remember, back in October we spoke with Laura Fitton primarily about her keynote speech regarding the Awesome Foundation. So if you guys can fill us in a little more on what this is.
Sure, Tim, you want to start?
Sure, definitely. So the Awesome Foundation for the Arts and Sciences, it's an institution that grants $1,000 awards to projects each month, to projects that forward the interest of awesomeness and awesome things in the universe. And it's a group of 10 people that started in Boston, but we've been moving kind of worldwide. So we started chapters in Providence, New York, and pretty soon we're going to be in San Francisco, London, and Melbourne as well. So we're hoping that the Awesome Foundation will become kind of a model that really goes to a lot of different places and funds a lot of awesome things, hopefully.
Sure. I mean, when Tim first asked me to join the Awesome Foundation, I was just completely inspired by the project because his idea was about granting money, no strings attached, to people that just had awesome ideas. It wouldn't be funded by any other source, and so just the 10 of us come together, each contribute $100, and give a $1,000 grant each month to a project that we think is, groundbreaking in awesomeness. And so it's really fun to be a part of the program every single month throughout the year.
And the money is up front too, so when you win the fellowship, you actually can get the money in check or cash in a paper bag, or we've even offered to give gold doubloons if anyone's interested in that. No one's taken us up on that offer just yet, but we hope so at some point in the future.
Well, it's a very inspirational project because it's inspired Laura to do all that she's done, which is incredible. So, so congratulations with that.
Yeah, thank you.
But moving right along, Tim, I believe you are responsible for RaffleCon.
Right.
So tell us about that.
Sure, RaffleCon is a conference that tries to bring together everybody who is ever famous on the internet together in one room, which is, besides being a health hazard, is a really great time. And basically we get a bunch of people who became unintentionally famous online. So David After Dentists, if you're familiar with that video, the dad and the kid will both be coming to this year's conference. And we're bringing a lot of different people from all over the place to talk about the past, present, and future of internet culture. And so that'll be April 30th and May 1st at MIT in Boston. And you can see that at rafflecon.org.
Well, it's very interesting how the internet has allowed for things such as this. I mean, the dentist situation, who would have thought? I mean, we had America's Funniest Home Videos a couple years ago, and now it's a conference basically about things just as that.
Right, and it's absolutely interesting. I mean, people will really respond to the idea of internet culture, and as internet culture as really distinct from like mainstream culture, like something you'd see on TV. And it's a fascinating universe where really people speak with their own language. And I had we invited a Harvard professor to come and speak at the conference, and he came up to me afterwards and he was like, that conference was great, but it was just really anthropological, because he was just like, for a while there I just didn't understand what people were saying, and it was like being part of like this alien culture or something. And so it's kind of amazing that the internet has kind of enabled that kind of interaction, and really enabled it in a way that's really quite vibrant. There's so much stuff that comes out every single day, and it's something that people are really excited about, which I think is great.
Very cool, very interesting too. Well, Earhart, tell us a little bit about this web ecology project that you're working on.
Sure, and Tim's a part of this as well. This was started after the Iran election really burst onto the Twitter scene and made this this odd space on Twitter where we weren't sure how big it was, like what was the effect of people being on Twitter for the Iran election. And so we put together a quantified kind of account as a report, and then put that out, publish it online, and form the Web Ecology Project as an informal think tank of internet culture researchers around Cambridge, Massachusetts that were really interested in these ideas, particularly around Twitter because it was so easy to collect data about, and then published a series of reports after that about influence online, and I did one on the Afghan election and the effect of that on Twitter, and Tim just co-wrote one about chat roulette recently, which has gotten some good press and been a great piece to start off our next series of reports, I think. You should talk about that, actually.
Oh, really? So are you familiar with chat roulette, or is it worth giving some background? So chat roulette is this really funny platform where basically people get randomly paired with one another to video chat with one another. And it's they're randomly distributed. You can be talking with someone in Korea, and the next second be talking to someone in your own hometown. And it's a kind of a ridiculous platform that a lot of people have been taking up very quickly. And there's been a lot of hype around it, both positive and negative. And part of the negative hype, of course, is that there's some not so savory things that are on chat roulette. And people are like, oh, well, 50% of this stuff, it's terrible. We should censor it, keep your kids away from it, all that kind of stuff. And so we decided to do some research around it. And it turns out that actually only about 10% of that stuff is really bad. And so we released this paper, and we're hoping to do some follow-ups to it, actually, because it's this really interesting kind of evolving space around internet culture and the kind of infrastructure that's really kind of supporting it and really kind of lending a new sort of interaction to that sort of stuff online. So
yeah, that's what we're basically trying to do with Web Ecology Project, is be on the forefront of internet culture memes and offer some sort of kind of quasi academic but a rigorous study of these things, so that people can get a sense of what actually is happening when somebody puts something on Twitter or chat roulette becomes really popular, because people are hungry for information about that, and we don't want people to jump to bizarre conclusions. So we hope to just give them a little bit of something to ground their ideas about what's going on.
That's great. You all have a lot of great stuff going on. Yeah, I'd say. Also, Earhart, you just came off a panel regarding online dating.
Yes.
So you have to fill us in a little bit about that.
So my friend John Balin and I started thinking about online dating when we first met almost a year ago. He's been very active recently on online dating, and I was about 7 years ago. And so we came up with this panel idea of 7 years in online dating to think about the changes that have happened in the field. Now it's a $1.1 billion industry, and there's all of these changes in the way that the platform is set up and how people respond to it and interact online that we thought it'd be a great thing to talk about. And the panel we was actually a core conversation, so we had the involvement of all of the audience, and it was wonderful. They had such rich responses because everybody was a member of a different dating site, and they were coming at it from different perspectives and had different anecdotes to relate as to why they thought, this was important or this was important. And we got some great going back and forth between men and women about, how to communicate and how not to communicate, and why you should send messages in certain ways or portray yourself in certain ways online. So I'm really glad we did the panel. It was a good time.
Good. It sounds really funny. Well, guys, thank you all so much. Best of luck with all of these projects. We wish you the very best, and we appreciate you sharing them with us.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Have a good one.
Thank you. This is Abby Johnson with Web News, coming to you live from Austin, Texas for South by Southwest.